just found out that the world doesn't actually revolve around me. Bit fucking pissed off about it. What's that all about? The fuck? I ain't ugly. You are fucking ugly.
Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy
Mega Meeple.
Greetings and welcome to the Mega Meeple. This is Season 4, Episode 6, otherwise known as Episode 100! Yay! Alright, yeah, Episode 100. I kind of was thinking about, well, what should we do special for Episode 100? I thought, just gonna keep on doing what I've been doing and talking about what I like to talk about. And, yeah, because it's, like my show, and, that's how shit works around here. So what better way to talk about what I enjoy? And one of the things that I enjoy is wrestling. So I have my friends Jason and Tony back on, and we're talking about the most recent pay-per-view, pay-per-view level. It wasn't on Fight TV or BR Live or anything like that, but they did a part of their weekly Dynamite show for the past, 2 or 3 weeks. And we just kind of put all that shit together, and we do our own little flavor of commentary. So, let's get ready for that and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Mega Meeple, and as I think it's become a staple on the show, because hey, it's my show, and you get to
it's
talk
wrestling. It's
That's
wrestling.
Right. We're talking about what I want to talk about. We talked enough about gaming and stuff and other stuff with other people. We're talking wrestling. So this past 3 weeks they did kind of piecemealed it to us over the weeks, because last year it was Fyter Fest was free, but you had to get onto like the BR Fight thing or Fight TV or something like that to get it.
Yeah. Yep.
But this time they put it as part of their Dynamite show, and then the third week was Fight for the Fallen. So we're gonna go through those nights and talk about some of the high points. I'm sure Jason's going to touch on the low points.
I'll touch on some low points as well this time. This was not the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm ready. I got my AEW hat on. I got my Lucha Brothers shirt on.
All right. Before we get started, okay, I do have more negative points about this just to put it out there. However, it is said in love. I'm an AEW fan. I'm going to keep on watching AEW. WWE sucks a dick. They are so bad, Reese. Like bad. I know you guys now. Maybe you dip in and out, anything, or like people who are listening. It sucks. Don't watch it. It is hot. Do not support them. Do not give them any of your money. The promos are all scripted. They're talking about eye for an eye stupidity. They're like Braun Strowman's getting chased by a crocodile, or even not even a real one, a CGI one. I have no freaking clue what is happening on that show. It's dumb.
They don't know what's happening either, so you're not alone.
It's for kids. They say it's for families, but it must be a family from 1956 because it sucks. It is the worst. So anything that AEW can open their cheeks and poop right in the middle of the ring, and it'll be better than what I'm seeing on WWE.
But
So
it won't get 5 stars because it won't be in the Tokyo Dome.
it is
4
so I
max.
have some bad things to say about AEW. I had some good things too, but I may come off as negative. Believe me, it is nothing compared to what I got for WWE.
No,
Anyway,
AEW is a wrestling program, and I don't feel like they make some bad decisions, but I don't feel like they're insulting my intelligence.
Oh, the insults,
Right.
the insults! Right. Oh my god!
Yeah, they shot quite a few across the bow of WWE, particularly
And
Taz.
Raw had its worst viewership in the history of its show this past week. Well deserved, Raw. Well deserved.
I heard SmackDown did the same one week where it was
Yep.
like the lowest.
Yep, they are tanking. They are going down with like the Titanic. It is not even because of the empty arena. It's because their shows suck. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out.
WWE.
I love AEW.
Wrestling.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we badmouth WWE. So yeah, I'll in recent programming history, that has definitely been the case. But before we get into the Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, I do want to touch on, and just briefly, we're not going to stay on it long, but what I'll pick a specific thing. How do you think AEW has dealt with Sammy Guevara?
To be honest, I do miss him on the programming. On the other hand, I feel like they gave a reasonable response to the initial accusations and everything. I feel like he handled it like an adult. I feel like Sasha handled it like an adult, and I feel like the company's handling it pretty well. I do miss him from TV, though. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. Like, he adds something to the show that nobody else does, and so it'll be good to have him back whenever they finally end his suspension. But I'm not upset with any of the stuff that they've done around it. I look forward to having him back when he comes back, though.
Right. I mean, I think that the Me Too movement, as it hits WWE, or like, what is it? The speaking out movement needed a scalp. And sure, why not? And like, in terms of a suspension, in terms of like, okay, you say this, I have a history of saying this. This is what happens to you. It's gonna be reasonable. He's gonna be back, so I'm perfectly fine with it. I think like Jimmy Havoc, we may never see Jimmy Havoc again.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of bummed out about.
Which I'm whatever. I did. Jimmy Havoc didn't really do too much for me. So like I'm cool. Like I'm cool with what they've done with Sammy. I mean, people have got suspended for worse, right? Titus O'Neil got a month for like brushing up against Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, so whatever, man. As long as I think they couldn't have done. I think they could not have done nothing. So
yeah,
as far
the worst, if the worst that happens from this is that Jimmy Havoc is forced to go to rehab and gets clean, then I think AEW came out of it pretty darn well, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and he may never wrestle again. Like that's the kind of dude that like what value did Jimmy Havoc really have? Like he was part of another tag team.
Mm-hmm.
So
and he's had. And he's had other incidents, like the incident where Excalibur had to choke his ass out when he got drunk and belligerent at an AEW event last year. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a well-known thing with Jimmy that he has a history of substance abuse issues. So, hopefully he can deal with all of his demons, or at least the ones that are negatively affecting him. And if we never see him in a ring again, like, I don't think it's gonna kill the show. I do feel kind of bad for Kip and Penelope, who are going to get less screen time now.
I think Penelope is fine. Like, do you see the state of the women's division? They have there's nobody there.
Everybody's hurt.
Everybody's either hurt.
They even mentioned it last night. 4 of the 5 ranked people are out.
Yep.
I think Penelope will be fine, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has a place on the show, so I think that she'll be fine.
Yeah. So I think, Cody pretty much said so himself that Sammy was going to be back, and when he does come back, he's going to be a better man and stuff like that. But even, because it happened, even with it happening like 4 or 5 years ago, long before Sammy was part of AEW or AEW was even a thing. But to me, they addressed it, and the important thing to me is that he and Sasha talked, which evidently they did talk. He did apologize to Sasha. Sasha accepted his apology, and they had a long talk about why it was wrong for him to say that. So I'm thinking, it's like, all right, well, Sasha Banks, it's not that I don't think she'd be okay with it, but she did accept his apology, and they've made amends. So yeah. So Sammy going to sensitivity training, and yeah, I hope I really like Jimmy Havoc. I hope to see him back. I mean, I got it's a good thing I got a shirt because chances are they're not going to sell it anymore.
Maybe a collector's edition now.
But they still have him as part of the roster on the website.
Yep.
But but I think Jimmy's problems are going to take longer than just an 8-week course or something like that.
Sammy's going to be back before the next pay-per-view event. Easy. Like, there's no way they're going to keep him out longer than that. He'll be back before that build is beginning. So.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So going into the first night of Fyter Fest. So first off, we have, and again, I'm just going to run through the matches here, and if we have anything to say about it, good or bad, leave the floor open. First, we start with
all bad.
We have MJF and Wardlow going up against Jurassic Express. Was there any spots or anything in this match, or was this kind of like a? First of all, what the hell was MJF wearing?
The pink
Pepto-Bismol.
What the hell was
the pink.
My favorite by far. I don't even mind the color, the cut of it. My favorite thing I saw online was the picture of Homer when he's working from home in the muumuu, and somebody put MJF over it. Like, just the cut of it. I don't know. I mean, the Burberry is a nice touch, and the last time he wore a robe to the ring, it was all Burberry, and it looked pretty good. This one was a very interesting choice, I will admit. Still, the rest of his gear looked fine. Like, he doesn't look bad in pink. It's not a bad color for him. That robe, he just never wear that robe again. As far as the rest of the match went, it was fine. I think they're building this. I don't know how slow burn of a thing it is, but they're building this slow burn. Wardlow gets tired of MJF's shit because he's the one who takes all the losses, and MJF takes all the credit, and it's miscommunication on MJF's part is somehow Wardlow's fault. I mean, it's going to be a thing that's just going to continue on, and eventually we'll get that moment. Batista-style thumbs down, MJF falls prey to Wardlow, who's just sick of it. But otherwise, it was a fine match. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it.
I like the lumberjack match better. I thought the lumberjack, because I'm okay. So this is like a general criticism that I have. Like, and you mentioned, I don't know if it was before the call or like when we started, but like AEW has probably the best tag team wrestling going. And there was actually a big Twitter thing. Meltzer said that. Meltzer like agreed with somebody that said that this is the best tag team we've ever seen. And of course, people were like, "No, what about the mid-'80s? What about the Stampede Wrestling?" Da, 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 da. But like, whatever you believe, AEW tag team is up there. Having said that, there are too many freaking tag team matches.
Agreed.
There just are. There are way too many of these things. So like, what? Like MJF and Wardlow, good act. Why can't they just single for each other? So like, Luchasaurus and Wardlow had a fun stunt show match. You had what's his face doing the whatchamacallit, what do you do? The moonsault off the stairs or whatever. And there was, and you could tell like he's a very like Luchasaurus, very green guy, but he's trying and he's trying to do his aerial style and everything, and like work that out in a singles competition. Like I'm looking at it and going, fine match. I'm already seeing tag team wrestling out the wazoo. Their lumberjack match was better.
Yeah, there were 3 tag team matches on night 1.
Ugh.
There is no reason for there to be 3 tag team matches on night 1. I would love, like, this is, out of the ones that were there, this is not the one I was most sad about. I'll put it that way. This was the middle of the 3 for me. It was a fine match. It was okay. The performers did.
It was okay.
Fine.
It was okay.
You know, that's about that.
Like MJF.
There was three tag teams, night 1 and 3 on the second night too.
Yeah.
Like MJF and Wardlow. I mean, MJF and Jungle Boy had a great match at the last pay-per-view.
Amazing.
And then Wardlow and Luchasaurus had a great match. Oh, well, not great, but like fun match.
Yeah.
Like, what did we do? Did we really need to go back to the well with a tag team?
I don't think so.
So that's kind of my opinion on that.
Yep.
Yep. All right. And then second was Shida versus Penelope.
Good match. Penelope Ford's best match in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I say that with no reservation. She stepped up her game, and it's very clear now based on seeing multiple matchups. Everybody that I can think of in the women's division who's had a phenomenal match has had it with Shida. Shanna had a phenomenal match with Shida. Nyla Rose's best matches with Shida, even though her matches with Riho were good.
I was gonna say I preferred the Riho matches just because Riho was like lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Riho's amazing.
Like the Marco stunt of the women's division. It's like it's always fun.
But Shida just every time she's out there, especially in like pay-per-view level events,
she does good.
She has an amazing match with whoever it is. I'm really excited. Like, I'm sad that the women's division is so decimated. Like, we had 3 tag team matches on this night. We could have used a second women's match. I'm waiting for AEW to give me 2 women's matches in one night.
Well, they're not going to give you that.
Not be a squash match, but
they're not going to give you that until they give you until they sign Tessa Blanchard.
Without a roster, they can't. Without a roster, they can't. And like, this is who they had that wasn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think about that? Do you think they should sign Tessa Blanchard?
I'm torn on that, really. Like, Tessa is really good in the ring. I really like watching what Tessa does in the ring. But I'm not going to say she's locker room cancer, but she's very much like in it for herself. And I don't know how she fits in the AEW environment, which seems to be, or at least portrays itself as very everybody for everybody. Like, I know that she really wants to expand women's wrestling. I don't know if either of you watch Women of Wrestling WoW at all.
No.
Tessa came into there and started training a lot of those people how to actually wrestle to help that become a better thing. It was also on the same channel as Impact. So she was doing both of those on the same channel at the same time. So I know that she cares about women's wrestling going forward, but you know, some of the stories, some of the baggage, some of the other stuff. I mean, I don't know. Honestly. Tessa could make money wherever she goes. I would not at all be surprised to see her in WWE because she could probably make the most money there.
Right.
It just depends on what's going on. Right now, she's in Mexico, though. So, like, until she can get back in the States, it's all just speculation.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I like Shida. I mean, like, she has a little bit of that schoolgirl thing going on because of her outfit. And the whole spot, was it during this match where Kip Sabian came in and just like she had the kendo stick, but then he just like threw it up in the air right at Shida? Was that this match? Yeah,
it went up in the air. She caught it and she just nailed him with it.
It looks stupid. Like, I mean, like it was just like, wow, what kind of Wile E. Coyote crap is this? But you know, I think that was like the one record scratch moment for me. For the most part, yeah, I agree that it was a good women's match.
Yeah, it's and just if I want to, she's not on these shows, but I just want to interject here now that we're on the subject of the women's division. I am so glad that they signed Abaddon.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think Abaddon is crazy fresh.
Oh, you're a horror guy, so of course you are.
I want to when Chris Statlander gets better, I want to see Chris against Abaddon. I want to see
The
who
alien and the
the
zombie.
alien and a zombie.
You guys enjoy. I'm my jury's out on Abaddon so far.
I really like Abaddon. I've seen a lot of her indie stuff. Like I was following her before she showed up on Dark, so that was like a treat for me. But it'll be pretty cool. At the very least, she's something totally different than everything else they have.
Yeah,
she's
True.
not like anybody else. So we'll see if what they can do with her. I think the way they debuted her was awesome, but that wasn't this show. So
no. So all right, so that was the second match of the night. Then we went to Cody and Jake Hager, and now now this was the same night that NXT, I think, pulled Great American Bash out of their ass.
Right.
Yep.
Now, did you check out Cody's shirt when he came out?
Yes, his shirt was fantastic.
His shirt had the same logo, same lettering, same color type thing, but it said Great American Nightmare, but it was in the
and
font.
To me, that's the way they should throw shade at WWE. Like, I'm fine with them doing something like that, where if you blink, you could miss it.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of, look at me, look at me, look at me. That's just a fine little thing that Cody did. I thought that was really sweet. This match, on the other hand, like, can we just stop giving Jake Hager title shots now? Like, have we fulfilled that portion of JR's contract where Jake Hager gets a title shot against every champion? Because I'm convinced that JR is the only person that actually really likes watching this guy wrestle. I don't have a problem with him being a character, and as a heater for the Inner Circle, he's fine. But
that's his homeboy there.
I'm done with it. Like, he's done the main title now with Mox in the longest match in history. He did this match against Cody, and it was a WWE match, like the most WWE match Cody's had on AEW's roster. And like, I guess he gets a shot at the tag belts. Is he going to be wrestling Sheeta now that she's put out an open challenge? I'm pretty much done with Hager at this point in title opportunities. Let him fight other people and do whatever Hager's going to do in the mid card, but I'm pretty much done with him for title opportunities for now.
I absolutely concur. He belongs in the mid card. I think there are a lot of better title structured opportunities. I'm actually agreeing with you. I didn't actually have as much of a problem with the match itself because it's a singles match, and and I'm not going to sit here and say they have too many tag team matches and then dump on the singles match.
The singles match?
The one.
I know, right?
They had with what the vice president of the company. Or what?
Well, was it the most exciting match? And just like I'm enjoying the TNT structure. I like that. That part is like one of the best things going. And we'll talk about the Cody and Sonny Kiss match. But like, I enjoyed the open challenge when Cena had it, and I like the fact that there's different guys that can go. Like, so you're gonna have like a little tiny guy, wrestling for you. You're gonna have Jungle Boy kind of doing his thing. And now you have Hager, so like he comes in and he gives the more bruising style match. So it's like I actually think of it more in terms of the aggregate of what the TNT Championship is, as opposed to kind of the one match. So maybe I'm a little bit more forgiving in that way. Like, maybe I'm thinking too much of the structure of stuff, and I'm just like, oh my god, a singles match. So
no, I think you're absolutely right. I think the TNT belt has been handled really, really well, and it adds some excitement, especially when we don't necessarily know who the challenger is going to be, like when Ricky Starks suddenly shows up out of nowhere,
right?
Or they don't tell you like before Sonny Kiss they said, hey, Cody's going to defend it, and then they broke the news on social media right after the show ended that it was going to be Sonny Kiss. So yeah, like I think that's been handled really, really well. I'm just Hager needs to go do something else. Cody keeps defending the belt against new and different people, and the TNT Championship scene is pretty much taken care of itself. Like, it's
Yeah, like let him, like you said before, let him be in the mid card, let him be the bodyguard. I think he had a decent little match with like Dustin a little while ago. I was a little too long, but it was like a kind of a bruising style match that he won. He belongs there. Like this, and I guess that's one of my bigger points about AEW. They don't have a singles mid card,
right.
And like they just don't have it because it's crowded out by the tag teams, and they need more juice in there. But anyway, so but just about the particular match itself, I had no problem with it. It was fine.
Yeah, make Hager a stepping stone to get to Jericho, not the end result in and of himself. And I think we're fine.
Right.
What I'm wondering is, especially with the opening challenges, what if you get somebody that from some independent or from another promotion, and they wound up winning the belt? So are they going to take their belt over to their promotion or something like that? Or is it going to be one of those things where it's like CM Punk when he won the belt on his last match and, blew Vince a kiss and took his belt and left?
I don't think they're going to... They have full control over the booking. They're not going to put the belt on someone unless there's some assurances ahead of time. I think we may see more people, especially with the COVID situation and a lot of people being out of work. Like, I mean, Brian Pillman showed up. Brian Pillman Jr. showed up. And he's still under contract with MLW, but they're not working right now. So, they made it very clear that he still has his contract with MLW, but, what are you going to do? Are you going to stop a man from feeding himself during a pandemic? So, I think we're going to see more people like that show up for one-offs, like Jeff Cobb did a while back. Just show up, wrestle a match, move on. Territory-style stuff, It's an attraction to see somebody who's not normally in the Fed.
Okay, cool.
Actually, okay, so here's one bad thing, and again, this goes to like a pattern, right? So, the end of the match was like, I think Jake had him in a move, and then Cody reversed him, and like Jake thought he won and all kind of stuff. So it's so it's basically a finish designed to let whoever the champion is win, but to let the quote unquote big guy come out with something, right? Mm-hmm. So then they did it with Brody Lee, where he's like, oh, they didn't pin him, they choked him out. Yep. They did it with Hager here. They did it with Brian Cage, so it's like, oh, he didn't come out. So it's like, all these other things. So it's like, oh, I know we'll get to Cage later. So like, I'm really getting tired, and this is me getting okay. So this is the thunder that I'm bringing right now. I'm really, really tired of like the same champions. It's getting really predictable, and just the idea that like, okay, it's gonna be a big dude versus our champion. The little dude's gonna win, but the big dude's gonna like keep his thing, and it's the same structure over and over again. It's become really predictable, and that part I am.
I was gonna save. Okay, so 2 times in one episode, I 100% agree with you.
Yes,
I was gonna save that analysis for the actual Cage match later on.
Right.
Like I was gonna bring it up specifically around Brody and Archer and Cage and Hager. Oh, speaking of bad attire, what possessed Jake Hager to wear his boxer shorts to the ring for this match? I completely forgot about that. But anyway, no, AEW has a real problem with building monsters. They don't let monsters be monsters. They either don't let them be monsters for long enough, they just rush them into the title scene, and then the champion beats them, but they still look strong. Right. Or they don't know how to build monsters.
It's happened 3 times. 3 times.
3 times in less than in like 3 months.
Right.
It's been one a month for 3 months in a row. Like Lee, Archer, and this? Like all of them? Really? I don't get it. Like I understand wanting to make people look strong in defeat. And that works for some people. Like Darby Allin has made his entire AEW career on looking strong in defeat up to this point.
Right.
So it can work. But, keeping your roster, keeping your guys strong, or MJF never losing and having Wardlow, the biggest jack dude on the roster, take all of his pins for him. Like,
oh god,
stuff makes sense in some regards, but at the same time, you can't go to the well the same way every time. Mm-hmm. It gets boring and predictable.
Right. I think that the booking of the big guys is becoming really, really predictable.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we'll get to that when we get to Brian Cage. But anyway,
Yep.
we've talked enough about Jake Hager.
Yes.
I'm not that
yes.
passionate about Jake Hager.
Okay. Then we went to the second tag team. As Private Party versus Santana and Ortiz.
I am really biased towards Santana Ortiz. They're my Boricua boys. They're from Brooklyn. I have follow them on Twitter. They still live in the Grand Concourse in the Bronx. They're still like bums, basically. even though they're popular, they're making money and everything, like they still live in there, and they still so I love the team. Ortiz was kind of it needed to grow on me a little bit, but he's kind of like entertaining and trying to make himself stand out. And I think Santana's really just cool looking.
Yep.
I think that they're too deep down. Their division is too deep for them. And they could be on top, but there's so many teams ahead of them. And the fact that they're losing the Private Party, and I like Private Party, and I want to like them more, but I think they're more of like a stunt show, Cirque du Soleil type act. And I don't think that I don't believe them as like a serious competitive tag team. I think they're just like they're clowning around. And so the wrong team won.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my God, we're mind over here.
And even if and here's the thing with Private Party, like I really like them. I agree, they're mostly a stunt show, but they're really young. They don't need to get the major opportunities right now. They can build to those. Like these guys have more miles left on them.
Right.
And Santana and Ortiz were freaking killers in Impact.
Right.
LAX murked everyone.
Right.
They showed the world that they were one of the best tag teams in the world. They put on one of the best matches I've ever seen with the Lucha Bros in Impact Wrestling. I know they can go.
Yep.
And even with the slight tweaks to their characters here in AEW, letting them bring out a little bit more of their comedic side and buddy up to Jericho and everything, like, why are these guys not winning matches? Why are they not winning matches?
Right.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Maybe it's because they already have their rub by being in the inner circle, but that's the wrong way to think about it.
Right.
Like just look at they're in their inner circle in the first place, and look at Hager's losing. Sammy takes every single pin for that team when he's there. The Proud and Powerful are really at the kind of the bottom of the totem pole in terms of tag teams. Like it's not that threatening a faction, and you need to kind of put the rocket on everybody in the faction at some point in order to really deliver on something, and they deserve it.
I thought for sure it was their turn. After Jericho dropped the title, I thought for sure, okay, now we're going to see Proud and Powerful in the tag team things, because the inner circle should always have someone with gold, and they're the most logical. Right. Don't put the title on Hager. Sammy isn't there yet.
Right.
Put it on Proud and Powerful, and then they didn't. And I just it boggles my mind. And I like you said, I like Private Party. I have no problem with Private Party. But
to me, they are tag team ranked number 11 on that whole squad. And it breaks my heart to say that, because I want to like them too. Minority tag team and everything. I want to root for the same type all over and again. I just don't feel like they are serious as competitors. And like I remember when we spoke, like they had the match against like the Best Friends. Mm-hmm. Like the Best Friends are just better. Like they're more serious, and they're like, and it's like, okay, I mean, you could do the spots, and they screw up spots all the time.
Yep.
I don't need that.
They even made fun of it on BTE. Like Matt Hardy's official language of the multiverse. They had them mess something up in the ring, and he froze time and called it out as botch. Like they even made fun of it on BTE that it happened. So they're aware of it, and they put Hardy with them to give him the rub and everything. And I'm sure Hardy's going to be a great person for them to work with over time. But stop trying to put them at the top this quick. Strap a rocket on them. They got the rub from beating the Bucks in the upset in the tournament. They don't need anything else now.
They didn't need it.
Let them entertain everybody and get some reps.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh, this is.
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised.
What has happened?
Two in the same show and two in the same night of an event. Wow, that's okay.
Crazy. So.
Then we go on to we do like a little tangent where Taz comes out and takes, I think, the second shot at WWE that night, where he started, smash talking Moxley for not being there, and then saying, as you know, Mox, you got tested there at home twice, and you're negative, and if you would have, got your head out of your ass and come to work, you'd be tested here. And because, as you know, we don't run a sloppy shop.
Yep.
And I liked Brian. If you notice, Brian Cage's a gun signal in the back.
Shooter.
Saying this is what this is a shoot.
Yep.
I became a fan of Brian Cage with that little motion over there because I don't know if he knew what was going to be said. But like just sensing what was going on and like just so subtle in the background, so snarky. Plus, like he appeared on AEW Uncensored, the podcast.
Yep.
And I thought he was like a cool guy because I didn't know much about him beyond his matches from Impact. And like I just like those little bits of personality. That's exactly what I want.
I was introduced to him in Lucha Underground. So I saw like him and Melissa Santos first get together, and like now they have an adorable daughter who interrupted his podcast and everything. I like Brian Cage a lot. I liked him since Lucha Underground. I liked his run in Impact. And overall, like if you're gonna shoot on WWE, this is the kind of thing to shoot on.
It's what you need to shoot on.
Something that's unexcusable.
Right.
Like when another company's lax standards affect their competitor because of personal relationships that exist. Like,
You're right.
Taz was totally in line for this. And anybody who tried to bust his balls over that comment, like, maybe you need to stop kissing Vince's ass quite so vigorously. I really loved it. I thought it was great. And the way he delivered the line was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people on Twitter went crazy. I mean, I'm not that I want to be Mr. like, oh, let me like tell on the people on Twitter or anything.
Right.
I just like following wrestling with a bunch of people.
Yep.
So like people went crazy because you makes you look minor league. Why are you gonna mention the Federation? And it's like, okay, I don't like it. Don't make a habit of it. But that particular comment of how many positive tests they had at the other federation and how dangerous and stupid and greedy they are needs to be called out. And Taz did it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, they didn't test anybody until people started turning up on independent tests. They were just doing temperature checks. So, like, that's totally valid.
Right.
Yeah, and then I saw, what was it, not even a day or two ago, that was, if it wasn't for, Kevin Owens going to Vince, they probably wouldn't be bothering to wearing masks at the Performance Center.
Right.
So
he also begged him to give the talent in the fans, the audience, to give the talent chairs. Because standing for 10 freaking hours is inhumane. Can't even imagine. No, you don't get a chair. It'll make you look lazy. I give up. Anyway, enough WWE.
Okay. All right, moving on to
it's a good shoot.
What is it?
Good shot.
Yeah, holy hell! Another tag team, but yeah, that's like
another
of the
tag team match
with Trent's mom, and I wonder if Trent knew that his mom was going to do that. It was like, okay, you're coming out and you have to look real tough, and mom's like, no, before you go to the ring, give me a kiss. Kiss mommy.
That was part of it.
I'm sure it was part of the whole shtick. No, Trent's mom is awesome. And now that they've got like Jess Palumbo, the lead producer, snapped a picture for Sue, Trent's mom, of them sitting in the minivan right before they got out for their entrance, and now it's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And like I think it's just perfect. It's the best friends aesthetic to a T. I can see Trent as a boy who loves his mama. It makes perfect sense to me.
I mean, hell, we're recording this on Thursday night, the night after Fight for the Fallen. They've already have a Jericho Demo God shirt out.
Yeah,
of course they do.
Yeah. No, they're gonna print a shirt for one line Jericho says every week. That's almost a guarantee at this point. But no, like no, I thought that the entrance was great. It was very unique. It was very them. And the fact that Sue's kind of become this reoccurring character and even ended up being interviewed in Sports Illustrated because of her appearance on Dynamite. Like, Trent's mom got a Sports Illustrated interview. How awesome is that?
That's wild.
That's a good
and
right there.
I love Omega and Paige, but and going back to what you guys were talking about with the whole the fact that the two people that's holding the titles of the tag team division are basically they're two single competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they need to get. I don't know how they're going to lose it. I mean, they've been kind of they've been milking and teasing the whole thing between Paige and for a while. I think we're seeing the turn coming. I think we're actually at that point. Like, I really liked the main event of this night. Like, I really loved the main event of night one. I think the Best Friends proved that they absolutely belong, like, up at the top of the tag team division. They're worthy challengers anytime someone wants to fight them. They're going to put on a fun, entertaining match, and they're going to do some, like, killer stuff. Like, I mean, I like Trent back in his Dude Buster days, and then Roppongi Vice in New Japan, and Chuck is just in general entertaining, especially if you let a mic anywhere near him while he's in the ring. It's hilarious. But no, I thought they did a great job, and Kenny and Hangman continue to be a solid team, even though they're singles wrestlers. And I think we're starting to get to the point where that's going to be coming to an end, and it's about time. Like, by the next pay-per-view, if they haven't lost the belts, they need to lose them at that pay-per-view, because any longer than that, it's too long at that point.
I think that.
But I like about the Best Friends is Chucky, because I was rewatching the shows today and yesterday. I was like, I'm looking at Chuck Taylor, and it's like, if he was in WWE, Vince wouldn't know what to do with them, because he doesn't fit
all
that
these guys.
mold.
Yeah, one of these guys.
Because you look at Chuck, I mean, Trent's one thing, but when you look at Chucky, I mean, he's not these big hulking guy like Cage or Wardlow or anything. Just even his face. I mean, he's the definition of skinny fat. Yeah, he has a face like me. It's like, well, what are you gonna do? Well, it looks like Chucky could do a lot.
Yes. I think that I didn't love the match. Right. I think that for whatever reason that it didn't really click for me. However, two good things. Well, one, I mean, okay, the Best Friends should have won. I did not like the fact that we're just continuing to go on. They got to pick one of these teams. The tag division is too deep. They got to pick one of these teams to win, and just take the titles and let that happen. What I did come out of this match, though, was that Hangman Page is a star. Yes, that dude is ready to just. Like, they need a singles mid card, so like you put him in the upper mid card, let him blow some guys away, and then he challenges for the title when he's ready. Like, he is ready. He is ready to take that next step. And I feel like they're delaying it because they need to sell more toys. I don't know. God, I'm a little sick of the elite guys just kind of clogging up at the top of the card. Mm-hmm. And I think
Paige pretty much did a good bit of the latter half of this match on his own. Yep. Yeah. He was the end. He was the man. He got the pinfall, and he's like, okay, Kenny, you're not doing shit. I'll hit my move, and I'll they didn't even use their last call combined. This was just Hangman's doing it himself, man. And no, I thought it was really good. I agree. It's another moment where Adam Page is shown. Yeah, I like. Why am I in the tag team division? Why am I not somewhere where I should? Like, he's definitely a star. And I think we can talk about a little bit later on stuff that happened last night. Mm-hmm. I think they're finally going to pull the trigger in that direction, and it makes me very, very happy.
Here's what I want, and this is fantasy booking right here. They are clearly setting up for a 4 horseman deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Even though they'll say they aren't because it's impossible to replicate in interviews. That's what Cody said.
Yeah.
They're totally doing it.
They're totally doing it. So, like, they have Tully is watching Cody matches. Tully is watching the FTR matches.
Yep.
And they're talking about Sean Spears. Sean Spears can kiss my ass. I've made my feelings clear last time about Sean Spears. He totally kissed my ass.
Yep.
Hangman Page.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman Page is the Barry Windham of this generation.
Yes.
And you put him in that as the 4th horseman. That is a stable right there.
Yep, I agree with you. And they beat the hell out of Sean Spears.
And they beat the hell out of Sean.
No, like, I like Sean Spears, but in a 4 horseman stable, I can't take Sean Spears seriously.
No
like,
way.
He would be the Paul Roma of that 4 horsemen instantly. No. Okay, I won't say he's Mongo McMichael. He's better than Mongo. But
he's really Mongo. Yeah, he's really Mongo.
Actually
not
wrestle.
to work out.
Mongo couldn't. So at least he's Paul Roma. But no, like the other guys. I mean, Cody's obviously the Flair analog.
Right.
You know, FTR obviously the Arn and Tully analogs.
Yep.
Throwing in Hangman as a Barry Windham, throwing the cowboy gimmick into there makes perfect freaking sense.
That's what I want.
Again, like him and FTR getting chummy over a bottle of Jack makes perfect sense.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh no, there it is.
I mean, I think everybody, like, I think most people who are watching the program want that, and I don't blame them at all. And the question is, like, the thing I think most is interesting about it is that I think Kenny and Hangman both being in this tag team is going to end up turning them both heel.
Well, yeah, with what Kenny did in the match, but
yeah,
he shouldn't be a heel, but whatever.
I think both of them are heading that direction, which is hilarious to me. And you know, I think it all starts with that amazing match with the Bucks, and then they just keep going further and further down that path. So I'm interested to see where it goes. But yeah, I agree with you. Hangman is a bona fide star, and it was a great performance from him.
Yeah, and notice that I didn't mention the match at all. It's like the match is like whatever. The wrong people won. Yeah. It was whatever match. It's more this one and the next one with the next night's match were both basically the Adam Page show. So I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah, then they had that little thing with the beer with Kenny Omega, which set up the whole thing later on.
Okay, so
later on.
Now we're going to disagree. That was completely stupid. Completely and utterly stupid. Okay, like everybody knows Kenny doesn't drink. Everybody knows it. So what is and just like the whole thing of like FTR shows up and they're like awkwardly staring at each other like they're dating or some shit like that. And it's like, are you friend? Are you my enemy? And every single week they're doing that shit. They're not cutting promos on each other. We don't know what exactly is gonna what FTR is there for. They had one sit down interview with Shoni Shivani, which is great, set the scene, but then it stopped. And it's like all this like kabuki theater miming, and this time they gave him the milk and shit, and they're spilling it on each other. And it's like this is like high school shit.
He should have
fight.
Like I don't think they needed to come out there. And at the same time, like I think freaking as Kenny even later on says to himself, why didn't I just hand it to Paige and let him drink 2 beers?
Yeah.
Like I mean, that would have made even more sense.
Yeah. It did
they're trying to start. Yeah, they're trying to start beef with Kenny and FTR and with like all the members of the Elite and FTR and with Kenny and Hangman. And this was like, oh my God, he stepped on my shoes. What disrespect, high school BS. I agree with you. Yeah.
Oh, you agree with me? I thought we were going to go back and forth in this one.
No,
it's
totally right.
I think like, okay, I love FTR. I love the different dynamic they bring. I love the rebirth of the Horsemen. Just the individual elements are all there, but the way they're executing it, it just seems so stupid. Like fight or talk or like you don't have to do this miming shit of like, okay, are we gonna drink beer? Are we not gonna drink beer? We're gonna do it together. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna get your car key, but it's not gonna work. Blah blah.
Like
bad storytelling.
And I think this goes to a little bit, and I'm not going to cut ahead to the very end of all of this, but I think I can say this in general, is that all of the story beats that they have logically make sense. They aren't just out of nowhere. But
Okay.
I don't know that they're necessarily the correct beats for the story they want to tell. They're not being nonsensical. Like, if you hand Kenny Omega a beer, he's going to do one of two things with it. Get rid of it or give it to someone else.
Right.
So it makes sense that that would happen. But why are you giving him this beer? What is the purpose of that segment? Could
Right.
you find a better way to do what you're trying to do there?
Right.
Like, the booking is logical. So I can follow the story. There's a through line. It doesn't come out of nowhere, but yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
All right, and that was night one, and then fast forward to the following week for Fyter Fest Part 2. We start off with another another tag team thing with with Private Party and Omega and Page.
So, okay, in fairness, this was the replacement for Moxley and Cage because Moxley couldn't come. So they double booked the tag teams. Let's give Adam Page another. So in fairness, it says a lot that they had to replace it with a tag team match.
Yep. And it was their Kenny and Hangman's second match that night because they filmed the other one as well. So, I don't know.
Says, like they could have. I know Moxley the champion, but if they had a hot singles, roster, they could have put Brian Cage out there against like somebody else. Right. Well, what the freak did Lance Archer? Oh, and Lance Archer had a match, but they could have done something to maintain. And I don't want to be like, okay, WWE does singles, so singles is good. Like I just like the thing about tag team matches is that they're structured the same. Right, like you have like the heel beat down and the cutting the ring in the half and the hot tag and and then AEW they completely ignore 10 counts. So, like you just kind of get a stunt show for a lot of them. So it's like the singles matches. I feel like there's more variety and there's more of a chance for the star to shine. So like seeing the one of the few. What have we talked about? One singles match so far?
Yes.
So like seeing the one single like a singles match being replaced by another tag team match, I'm like, ugh. And then it was Private Party, so you know that they're not going to win. They're just not going to win. Like it was powerful, maybe.
Yeah.
Shenanigans, maybe there's cheating, but like Private Party, they were never going to win.
No.
And they were basically dispatched in like 10 minutes. It wasn't even that competitive.
Yeah, they were dispatched, and like Hangman and Kenny were both meaner. It seemed like after Hangman basically ran the show for the last half of the Best Friends match, Kenny woke up and actually wrestled this one. I don't know if like it was because it was two matches in the night and Kenny was trying to save some for this one, which is hilarious given how long his marathon matches in Japan are. So
right.
I don't know. I don't know what was going on. Kenny seemed more on in this one than he was in the Best Friends match. But even then, it was, outcome is expected. Private Party aren't going to be the people to take the titles off these two.
Nope.
It's there's
to the bottom of the ranks, one step above Dark Order.
I would argue with those, but that's fine. We can talk about that later. Anyway,
then we got Lance Archer looking strong again because he's up against Joey Janela.
Right.
And this one was, this is like a lot of the other matches. It was a match. I mean, even the table spot was kind of all right. Yeah, Joey set out the table, so chances are it's going to be used on him.
He's going through.
Yeah,
it was a nasty spot.
Yeah,
I mean, kudos to Joey for always being willing to take one for the team, and I thought the way they opened it, playing on Archer's always starting by beating someone up and having it be Joey's tag team partner was a really nice touch. Because everybody's like, well, we thought Sonny Kiss would be out here to cheer him on, and then Archer walks out with him on his shoulders. I thought that was really well done. Right. Jake looked kind of lost in this match. He was doing some weird stuff on the outside, like with the bag and all of the other nonsense. Like, we're supposed to believe there's always a snake in that bag now, apparently. Even though it's very clearly obvious that there was not this time. Like, he just seemed out of sorts and, like, distracting the refs so Sonny can get offense in on Archer in the background. And I like that Sonny and Joey aren't, like, aren't above cheating. It makes perfect sense,
Right.
for Joey's character to be a little bit of a scumbag, even if he's the good guy in the fight.
Because they're tiny. Yeah,
Yeah.
they need it.
But it was a Lance Archer match. It was a Joey Janela match. It wasn't bad. I don't know that it really did much for either of them other than get them TV time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anti AEW rant number 3. First one was too many tag teams. Second one was they don't know how to book big guys.
Mm-hmm.
Third one is managers. I really think that they are going hog wild on these managers. So now we got Vicky, and we had Tully, and we have Arn, and we have Jake, and we have Taz. So I feel like, okay, so managers are very old school, and when they're done well, they're good. But this whole thing, basically the managers, they don't they don't. I like when Paul Heyman and CM Punk had their run because it was both of them.
Yep.
Right? So Paul Heyman would talk and CM Punk would talk, and they would go off each other. So far, it's just if someone gets a manager, we're never going to hear from them.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one of structural flaw. Number two, back in the day when there were a lot of managers, the Mr. Fuji, the Freddie Blassie, or whatever, it wasn't just one guy. They had stables.
Right. They had a group. Right. I agree.
It was a posse, and it was gang warfare. So you can put Hakeem versus whatever, and you can have kind of the gang warfare thing. This whole one person gets one manager is lame, and Jake is the worst one.
I kind of feel like they need a Thanos snap to get rid of half of the managers that they have on the roster. I kind of agree with you. I loved Jake debuting with Lance. I loved Jake's promos around Lance in the beginning. I absolutely loved all the promos he cut, especially the one that they filmed on Darby's Ranch with Lance in the ring killing all the jobbers and everything.
Right.
I thought they did a great job having him narrate that sort of stuff. Jake doesn't need to be down at the ring every time Lance has a freaking match.
Right.
Let Jake just continue to talk about him in all of the pre-tape promo vignette stuff that makes Lance look badass. And let Lance just scream everybody dies and go out and wreck people. He doesn't need Jake out there distracting referees and doing... Lance Archer, have you seen Lance Archer? Do you think Lance Archer... Jake even cut a promo about how when Lance Archer walks into a room, nobody can take their eyes off of him. And the referee's staring at Jake for some freaking reason? It makes no damn sense. Jake, sit down. Sit down. Have some chat. Watch your man kill someone, and then pat him on the back when he does a good job.
The whole thing of Jake being a heat-seeking missile towards Cody, it could have been like Bobby Heenan and Hulk Hogan, where Bobby Heenan would just kind of psycho monsters. It's so WrestleMania or WrestleMania 2 you had Bundy, and then WrestleMania 3 you had Andre, and it's okay, we're just gonna Bobby Heenan just has this hatred of Hogan, and I feel like that's the feud. You could have had Jake and Cody. It doesn't make too much sense, but it's all right, I'm gonna buy it. So Archer couldn't do the thing, so let Archer do his own thing. Now here comes Jake with another threat towards Cody, and it's just cycle that through. There's a whole bunch of things you can do, but they have to get away from this one manager, one wrestler deal. Let them have stables. Let's get it. I think they're really, really dropping the ball. They're muddying the waters. There's too many just cooks in the kitchen. They need single stars.
And if they want to have the legends show up, let the legends show up. But I mean, Tully has Sean. But Tully's out there scouting talent because that Tully's looking to put something together. That's an effective way to use somebody. Right now, I think, honestly, out of all the managers they're using, Tully's been the best. Cody doesn't need Arn so that he can scold him for showing off in the middle of a match. Are you shitting me? Why? Let Cody just be a dick. Let everybody realize that Cody's a heel before he realizes he's a heel.
It's Sunny Kiss, for God's sake. Come on.
Yeah, that's fine, but there's the too many managers thing is 100% true, and
wow, yeah, oh my goodness, I really I was bringing a lot of negativity. I was very afraid, but I'm surprised that we're on the same wavelength.
They're fair criticisms, and I love most of the people who are managers. I have nothing against Tully. I have nothing against Arn. I have nothing against
Oh yeah.
All of them are freaking great, but do we need all of them every episode? No,
Nope.
no, not at all. Like,
Yeah,
they're not drawing ratings. Apparently, John Moxley draws rating, but it's not, like, we can talk about that later. But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
and
I
then,
love how we're talking about like all this extra stuff and like barely talking about the matches.
yeah, it was a match. Moving on.
Oops.
Then Taz introduced the FTW Championship belt and gave it to his man Brian Cage. I had to go back in the archives to see where that came from, because I didn't recognize it at first.
Oh, I'm familiar with it. Like, I was one of those people who, when people started saying FTW online for the win, I was like, that's not what that means.
Yeah.
I'm a dirty old Mark from way back when. Like, ECW was my jam. No, Taz will kick your ass for saying that shit. But no, like, why? Why did they introduce this here? Because they needed to fill a segment because Moxley wasn't back yet? I don't get it. Like, I can understand, okay, I believe my man's a badass mofo. I'm going to put him on a title. Put a title on him. Sure, fine. And then they do what they did last night, and it makes even less sense. Like, I don't understand the decision there. And at the same time, I felt the promo Taz gave when he gave him the belt was really good. The belt looks really good. It looks really good on Cage. It's a cool little throwback thing. Like, it is some renegade shit. But, like, Taz gave himself that belt because Shane Douglas was injured and wasn't defending his title, and they needed a title for somebody to defend. Taz didn't lose while he had that belt until he lost it to Sabu. And then Sabu defended it like it was a real title. And then Taz won it back. So, like, there's no, like, why is he losing if you're crowning him champion? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, the idea behind it, okay, we're going to do this. Okay, so now it looks like Cage is going to win. Why are they going to give him a title and then have him lose? And then, inexplicably, that's what they do. No goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Man, it took the words right out of my mouth. Look at this.
I'm just saying.
I don't have to rant anymore. It's like, oh, I can take a break on that one.
Then we went to Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers versus FTR and the Young Bucks.
It was insane. It was great.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I mean,
fantastic.
Just a regular tag team with 2 versus 2.
Right.
When you think of, okay, somebody has to be on their hit a spot, or they have to be in a certain position, or they have to lay up so their partner could do this. And you have like freaking 8 people, all kind of, when you got those many people that are, in a sense, fighting and things just seem to flow together. Especially when Ray Phoenix does that Canadian Destroyer off the thing.
That was mental. Canadian Destroyer to the outside. Are you shitting?
And it's like, okay, well, those guys at the outside the ring had to be there for that spot to happen. So it's like, yeah, whoever's called these matches or how they're putting these matches together is just to me. It's like, yeah.
The one thing I'll say is that they make a complete mockery of the rules. There's no rules. Like, why never?
There aren't. And
no. I counted at least 4 times where I couldn't keep track of the Legal Man.
Oh yeah. It's
like Legal Man. Are you kidding me?
Well,
Legal
the
Man
Lucha Brothers
be in the middle of the ring.
The Lucha Brothers were in this match. What do you expect? No.
And at one point, the ref was even. Wait a minute. He's ready to hit the count, and is like, no, wait a minute, you're not the legal guy.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, it's the Lucha Brothers operate under Mexican rules all the time. As soon as someone leaves the ring, another person can get in. They're tagged. That's it. Like it's just 100% the way that they always have operated. They're gonna have a hell of a time trying to get them to do anything involving rules, regardless. But that said, like, couple of things I loved about this match. I liked that the Butcher and Blade were involved. I like the
Butcher. Who's the big guy?
The Butcher.
Yeah, I like he stood out because he was one big guy in the match. They really played off of me.
And I think and it's really good for them to be there. I don't think they're like gunning after the titles or anything, but like, how much better can you get if you're in the ring with these 3 teams? Seriously. Sure. Like, good experience for them. It was great that they were there. Everybody assumed they were there to take the pinfall, and then that swerve was put in, and I thought that was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, the Lucha Brothers are absolutely mental. Like, you can't even, if you were going to try to describe the Lucha Brothers offense to someone, words would fail you. Like, Pentagon's going to gesture a whole bunch and make your chest bleed, and then Phoenix is going to do some absolutely insane shit you didn't think was possible due to physics.
It's
right.
Mierda.
I'm glad they've tampered that down a bit. We only need 1 per match. No more, Penta. Stop it. I do love that Cash put on Penta's glove after he threw it at him.
Yeah.
He wore Penta's glove for the rest of the match, so he was walking around with 1 glove. I thought that was pretty funny. Everybody got to do a little bit of what they do. You know, Butcher and Blade got to do some nasty things where the Blade set up the Butcher to dish out some big man offense. The Lucha Brothers flipped around like maniacs. The Young Bucks did too. Nick and Phoenix with the bouncing off the ropes in the corner.
The rope.
Absolutely crazy timing. Like, those guys have major chemistry. Yep. And then, like, Cash and Dax got to go in there and, like, hard-nose some people and put on some submission holds and everything. It was a really good match. I think out of all of Fyter Fest, there may be only 1 match that I enjoyed more, and I think this was still probably a better match. And we can talk about that as we get a little further in, but I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun times.
And Butcher and Blade look really good with the Lucha Brothers. Like, as a faction, they actually look pretty badass.
Yeah, but they're lower card. They do their job. You have to have jobber teams that are, like, interesting, and I think they're a lower card tag team. So they do that. Stay away from Lucha Bros. Keep your loser stink away from Lucha Bros.
They look phenomenal, though. Whether they're wearing their white with their suspenders or they're wearing their black getup with their monocles and masks and shit.
I don't know. They look like painters when they wear the white outfits.
I think that's the idea.
They look like they're coming to paint your house. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. But no, I think they look really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the big guy's a guitarist for a band that I forget the name of it, but you know.
Every time I die, and it's he's a damn good guitarist.
They on iTunes.
Probably.
I don't remember if I ever looked them up, but yeah. All right. But of just the night 1 and night 2, this was one of the matches of the night, I guess you could say. Then Nyla Rose came out, and I wrote down she beat up 2 jabronis and talked about a manager, which turned out to be.
Move on. We're good.
Nyla killed the Dark roster, then made an announcement that we're not making an announcement, and then we moved on to the next thing.
Yeah, that was it. And as it turned out, her manager was Vicky Guerrero. And
same comments. Like we have too many.
And again, I love Vicky. I think this is probably the best theme music Vicky Guerrero has ever had, because I could actually listen to it, even though it was still her screaming "Excuse me." Like, they remixed it in a way that made it actually a listenable tune.
Kind of melodic, you know.
Yeah.
And she looked like she was having so much fun out there. And the thing that gets me is, I don't feel like Nyla needs a mouthpiece. Because, like we've said in the past, like, Nyla has some of the best one-liners I have ever heard in my life. Especially, like, when she's trash-talking in the ring. Or, like, I don't know if you guys watched the Goofy puppy battle royal thing.
Yeah,
but
that was cute.
Nyla's comment there, they named all the puppies after wrestlers. And Nyla's like, I think the Nyla Rose puppy has got this on lock because all them others are bitches. It's just, like, fucking great. Like, seriously. just that one liner alone was enough for that whole segment. That and Tony Schiavone losing his damn mind. Trying to call a wrestling match with
a bunch of dogs.
But no, I don't know that she needs a mouthpiece. Vicky's not a bad one. I like Vicky. I even like Vicky as a manager. Like, she was great when she was in the family.
If they do it like they did with CM Punk and Paul Heyman, it could work. Where they kind of they both have their shit.
Yeah, but they play off each other.
If it's all Vicky, and Vicky needs, like, give Vicky more play. Like, they need to sign more women. So, like, that's gonna take a while. But like you know, it could be a thing. Like, it could be a whole squad.
Oh, Vicky could absolutely run a stable.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Like, mother hen to a gigantic group of badass women. I could totally see that. And I'm glad to see Vicky on my TV screen again, honestly. Like, whether she's banned from WWE for life now or not, I'm glad to see her on my TV screen because she is an absolute sweetheart of a woman who can make you hate her like no one else. And it's
nuclear
awesome.
heat.
She reminds me of one of the ladies that was on staff at the homeless shelter that I was at after getting out of the hospital. And I swear she had the voice that was like, I said, she sounded a cross between Vicky Guerrero and Edith Bunker. And, you know, it was like, you know, when lunch was ready, I mean, it's just, lunch is ready, dinner time. You know, it's like, and you heard her voice. It didn't matter.
I bet she loved her job.
Oh, I don't know. But she loved getting on all of our nerves because, you know, it didn't matter if you were in your bedroom halfway, you know, on the other side of the building. You heard your dinner time. All right. We have like 30 seconds to get out to the dinner table. Otherwise, they yell at us. Oh God, yeah. So, all right. So we got then we go to SCU and Brody and some, you know, the Stu, Grayson and Colt.
Doom, Colt Cabana, Doom.
Now the one thing I'm just not getting it, but it's like, okay, Colt, you had like how many losses, and all of a sudden you feel the need that you need the assistance of Mr. Brody.
Right.
Well,
what was your career before AEW? You were big, you know.
Well, he was undefeated. And then he ran into Lance Archer, and then he lost until he was 500, and now he's been undefeated again since he started talking to Brody Lee. I mean,
what I don't get is, and this is where, you know, it's like, okay, I could the storytelling may be okay, but just the way they're doing it, I think is kind of stupid. Is okay, Colt Cabana, all right, he's doing it and he's getting these, but you know, he's acting like he's in the middle of a ring, not knowing what the hell to do. It's like, do I? What do I do?
Like,
do I pin him?
Wrestle,
do I pin him? Oh, okay.
Well, they're supposed to be playing up. This match was. They were supposed to be playing up this whole Colt Cabana's friends with them, with SoCal Uncensored, and of course he wrestled with them against the Dark Order. So this is supposed to be that whole, like, now he's really in league with the Dark Order because he's turning on his friends in the name of getting wins. And like, I get the booking, like, it makes sense. And like, the injury he had before this match was a legit injury. The bruising and everything that he was suffering from is real, and he decided to go ahead and wrestle through it anyway. Like, they did clear him, but he wrestled through it anyway, and like, they decided to just add it to the match as yet another touch of, like, now it's like they keep sending Colt in to, you know, get the wins and like to be a star and everything, and it's even more imagery of Brody like taking advantage of him and like, oh, but you need to get in the ring and wrestle because you're the star, we're trying to make you, and like, it's, you know, literally like pulling him apart. I think it's decent storytelling. I think like it's mostly comedy wrestlers at this point involved in it. You know, Scorpio is now singles guy, and they've decided to officially make Daniels and Kazarian the tag team in SCU. And then, you know, like, the standout of this match though was actually Stu Grayson.
Stu
Like,
Grayson.
Stu Grayson was freaking everywhere. He
Yeah.
was catching people on dives. He was hitting big moves. He was wrecking people. And then, like, they Brody makes him give Colt the pin as yet another, like, symbolic gesture. No, Stu looked freaking great. I've always loved the Dark Order in the ring. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, I love both of them in the ring. I love them. I know you differ with me on that. The storyline.
We were doing so good, Tony. We were on such a good streak.
I knew that as soon as we got to the Dark Order, like your comment earlier about the Dark Order being the bottom, that was where I knew we were going to start disagreeing. Stu Grayson is great, and Evil Uno I really love, and I'm growing to love this version of the Dark Order. I don't know why Brody Lee's there. I really question it, but like if you watch BTE right now, the Dark Order is the best thing on being released. They are hilarious. I would watch a 30-minute office type sitcom of the Dark Order. Like Brody Lee and his absolute outrage at finding out that Evil Uno not processing Join the Dark Order applications led to them not getting Hangman paid. And then just throwing papers at him while Uno Wilhelm screamed was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then like calling Uno up and having him throw papers at himself. And then like later on, like the one this week where they bring in Griff Garrison, some jobber, and they think it's Jungle Boy that they've recruited. And Brody's just absolutely like done with all of that. Like it's like he's the teacher and he's managing school children. I find it really entertaining on BT. As far as this match goes, Stu Grayson looked like the star. The Colt Brody thing was moved forward like it always is, and SCU showed up. Like this was like SCU gets a spot on the card.
Yep, I actually agree with Tom. I like the fact that they're trying to tell a story, but that is not the same thing as telling a good story.
Okay.
It is not well executed. I don't buy Colt for a second. Like, I think that it's going to just be him turning and becoming back, going back to a goofball because that's the only character he's played in 15 years.
I'm almost getting, at times, I'm almost getting Colt Cabana and QT Marshall mixed up with one another because they had that same kind of, QT Marshall is like, okay, well, what does, what's her face? The bunny. That used to be the bunny.
Allie.
And Allie. What is that? I know. Is Allie watching me? Type of thing.
I don't know. So I'm more confused by the Allie QT storyline than I am by this one. But at the same time, like I feel like if it was QT in the spot where Colt Cabana is, it would make more sense as a story.
Yeah.
So like I think it's a weird casting choice to put Colt there. I get that they want him on TV. Colt's not a bad wrestler. He can do some pretty cool stuff. His offense is really unique.
Right.
And like he's got other value outside of what he can do in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good announcer. We've seen that in other companies. He's funny as hell. He's got other name recognition value. His podcast was phenomenal. So like I get it, but at the same time, like the same reason they want to have Daniels and Kazarian on all the time. Like they have name recognition. They're people that everybody knows. But it's, I don't know. It's a weird thing to me. The whole storyline is weird. Like Brody lost to Mox, and I thought that the Brody Mox match was really well handled.
Right.
And again, were we not establishing a pattern?
Yep.
This is how all big guys are going to go down. Had the Brody Lee Mox match stood on its own and they not then repeated themselves, I think it would have been fine. He could have gone off and done something else. But like, I don't know, it's weird. I don't mind the Dark Order being primarily seen on Dark, and I don't mind them being primarily like a comedy type thing. But like, it's starting to look like, Grayson and Uno are now the number one ranked tag team. They were the number one ranked tag team before they were locked out due to travel issues, and then they fell down the card because they were wrestling. And now they're back and they've got wins, and so they're back at the top of the card. I expect that's where they're going to go next. But I don't know if they're going to do that before Omega and Page break up or after Omega and Page break up. I don't know.
Too many tag teams, too many tag team matches. This was a piss break for me.
The piss break, go make yourself a sandwich. Then the next one is, I think, another match of the night was Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I couldn't decide whether I liked this one or the 8-man tag better. Both of them were excellent matches. I think both of them were better than anything we got on night one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, I can absolutely say that. I can say that. But yeah, if these had been the 2 main events, I probably would have liked that more. Not to say anything bad about the Best Friends, but like both of them were both great matches.
Yeah.
And Jericho is just, I don't know what it is about Chris Jericho, and I've wondered this since the WCW days with Ralphus and making fun of Dean Malenko and all of the other nonsense that he does. How does somebody look like a legitimate threat while being such a goddamn goofball all the time? I don't get it, but with him, it really works. And him wrestling Orange Cassidy didn't feel weird at all. And Orange Cassidy showed up. You know, he tried, everybody. And when Orange Cassidy is a hell of a wrestler.
Yep.
Like, he genuinely is a hell of a wrestler. And it's really easy to dismiss him as pockets, sunglasses, lazy guy. But, like, when he gets an opportunity, he kills it. And I think he did fantastic in this match, and I think he did fantastic last night, too, in the part that he was involved in. So, like, yeah,
and he worked in the gimmick. So like during the match, he does the lazy kicks, and it's, oh my god, I thought this was beyond this, but then he delivers like a solid super kick, and it's like, oh wow, you just you lulled him in. This was right after he got, I think Jericho had gotten hit on the turnbuckle or something, so like he's a little bit dazed. To do your lazy kicks, okay, and then you hit the real kick, and you get a near fall. So it's like just the little wrinkles like that, and they just happened the entire time during the match. It was a great match.
Yeah,
no question that this was, because again, I like good singles wrestling. I think I've seen stunt show matches before. So like I forget where it was. It may have been last year's Fyter Fest or All Out, but it was Lucha Bros and Young Bucks in that ladder match.
Yep,
that was just like insane, and like the big spot is a Canadian Destroyer off the ladder. So it's like the match has become where can we do the most innovative Canadian Destroyers? Yeah. So it's like. Okay, so like the stunt show stuff is like really exciting, but like something that's like drama and storytelling and character, no question, it's Jericho and Cassidy.
Okay, I think you might have sold me. Like I loved both matches. I think you might have sold me on which one was the better match.
Right.
Staying that, but like both of them were totally their characters this whole match. They played against expectations their whole match. Like Orange, just like with the Cody Darby match. Orange didn't need to win this for it to be a star-making performance.
Right.
And, like, right now, I think both Jericho and Cody have that ability to put on a match with somebody and make it look like the best match that person has ever had.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know that this was the best match Orange Cassidy has ever had. I don't know that it was the best match Chris Jericho's ever had. But it was a damn fine main event, and I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
Right. Great character work.
Yep.
I think there wasn't no outside stuff going on. It was just them two, right?
Santana and Ortiz were outside,
Yeah,
and
they
they
came
were
in.
with
the match.
They threw the orange juice at them.
And the Mad Ball came in at one point, but it didn't really have any kind of an impact. It let Jericho get an early advantage and heal it up for a while, and then they just kind of faded into the background.
Yeah, so I'm saying like, and then Best Friends came in and took out Powder Puff. Like they didn't need to like the outside heat helped, but it didn't really need it to be there. Like they could have done everything they could have done, just the two of them. And I'm looking forward to the rematch because there's going to be one.
Absolutely, I think there has to be now because
what happened?
Jericho declared no, and I think he's changing his tune now to the tune of $7,000. Or whatever asinine figure Jericho makes up.
Whatever, yeah.
Alrighty, so that was the end of night 2, and then as we talked about earlier, the whole Mox and Cage thing was supposed to happen, but they pushed that forward to Fight of the Fallen. So the following was July 15th had Fight of the Fallen. Now, I mean, since primarily we've been talking Fyter Fest, that's really the only match that I'm at least interested and prepared to talk about. But if you guys want to talk about any other matches that occurred at Fight of the Fallen, but
not to any amazing length. Like Cody's Sunny Kiss was really, really good. Sunny Kiss did a fantastic job. Cody did a really good job. Cody's really starting to heal it up. I'm enjoying that.
Right.
You know, even if they do have to have the manager show up and give Cody crap for healing it up, overall, I think it was a good match.
And they're leaning into the whole thing of like they're not just like hiding this whole Sunny Kiss, he's a gay guy thing. Like he comes out and dances to house music with cheerleaders.
Yep.
You know, and it's like we're embracing this, and we're just not gonna run with it, and it's not just gonna be wrestling the gay guys a heel type thing. It's like, okay, we are really gonna celebrate some shit, and like because I was watching it while I was putting my kids to bed, so like 'cause it's right there. It's like 8:00. I have it on my phone, and my wife is there with my kids. My wife's looking at going, "What the hell are you watching?" And I'm like, "Check this out. This is wrestling." She's like, "That's pretty cool." It's like, all right, that is crossover stuff right there.
So it's really hard to not love Sunny Kiss, honestly. It's really hard.
It's great fire and does really, really well. And they told the story of how Cody was like thrown off his game and like kind of getting pissed off and making mistakes and everything. So that was some good character work there.
Yep.
Yeah. And they showed Tully, so they're really setting those seeds of like Cody might get to the point where he's like, why not? Like be a badass and have a faction.
Or why do I have Arn bitching at me all the time when I could just go to Tully and Tully will enable all this behavior I want to do anyway? Anytime he takes his belt off in the match, one of these times it's gonna be the time he whips someone with it. It's guaranteed. And they tease it in each match, and it's really, really class. I really enjoy that. Other than that, I don't really feel a need to talk about any of the others. It was cool to finally see FTR versus the Lucha Brothers, but the match...
It was a cool match, and they're capable of better.
Yeah, the match was not what I wanted it to be. The Lucha Brothers were really sloppy, and the ending was one of those, we're going to cheat to win endings. Right. Oh, well. Other than that, I don't feel a need to talk about any of the others. It was a warm-up.
They have a better match in them, and they're going to get to it. So I don't mind seeing things multiple times as long as they kind of climax well. Yep. And I feel like they're setting that up.
Yeah.
So Moxley and Cage.
Now, what? Touching back on what we were saying, we were talking about between Omega and Page sooner or later. What do you think about Omega basically going, kind of shitty after the bell?
I think Kenny needs to distance himself from the Bucks in order to go do his own thing. So I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, honestly, if Jericho is gone, who do they position as the heel in the company that everybody wrestles? It's, it could be Cody, but Cody's in the TNT picture, so they need one for the main picture. Kenny's the best choice, I think.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with it. I like the cleaner version of Kenny. I like it when he gets to be a little goofier and evil and anime villain-esque. So it's fine for me. The Elite need to stop palling around and do their own shit.
Jason, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
one way or one way or the other.
It's the same thing of, the whole thing with giving Kenny the beer and everything, because I feel like there's something wrong with the Bucks. Like the Bucks are great wrestlers, but I just feel like there's something not landing when they try to do this shtick and they try to do the acting stuff, and I just don't feel like when they're in that environment that it's just I just feel like they're kind of goofing around and they're trying to pretend to be serious, and I'm just not buying it at all.
Alrighty.
I'm kind of thumbs down on that. I just feel like you're a wrestler, so okay, if you don't do acting, you're not actors, and you're not communicating anything. You're basically hammering me over the head with, well, this means this and this means this. You're not delivering it with your performance.
Yeah.
So I'm just whenever the Bucks try this stuff, and it's just do your thing, guys. Do the stuff you're good at. Either be monstrous goofballs and being the Elite, or be badass wrestlers. But being this kind of that in between, we're gonna act in the wrestling ring. It's always bad.
I was much more excited by seeing Hangman sitting down with FTR drinking Jack than I was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of the other stuff.
3 of the 4 horsemen right there.
Anyway,
but
the main event.
Yeah, Moxley and Cage. I like how they Because I don't think. I mean, I knew Cage was signed back in January, February. Or something. It was like
Yeah.
earlier in
Yeah,
the
like,
year,
yeah,
but it
before
wasn't
that.
until recently that he was able to come. But um, I'm glad that when Moxley brings that to light and kind of reminds everybody, oh yeah, yeah,
Right.
Taz may be right that he's too built up in the shoulder stuff that I can't. But I know a little. There's another way to bring him down, and then
Right.
and this prophecy in a sense of what he was gonna do
Mhm.
when he's breaking his arm, and then sure enough, that and those things, those prophecies, the opportunity or chance happens that for him to do that very thing. Look over at Taz, smile, give him the finger, and it wasn't just a bunch of smash talk at the beginning to
So
hype himself up.
So for me, up until the finish, I thought this was a good match. Um, it's a Mox match. They're gonna spend a lot of time outside. They're gonna give it New Japan Pro Wrestling rules where they're not even gonna bother to count really.
Playoff rules. Playoff rules.
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody wants to see it end in a double DQ. And in WWE, this is exactly the sort of match that ends in a double DQ, so that or a single DQ or a count out or some screwball finish like that, so that they can keep Cage looking strong and Moxley retains. So
Right.
like they let it go. I thought the outside stuff was really good. Cage did did some impressive things throwing Moxley around, and Moxley's not a little guy.
Yep.
He's taller than Cage. He's not heavier than Cage, but he's taller than Cage. So like throwing Moxley around into barriers and barricades was pretty cool. They threw a chair spot in there and they didn't even like pretend to DQ anybody. Like they just set up the chair and nailed somebody on it. Like I thought that was all great. Moxley calling out his game plan, and then the Taz also being right, where the paradigm shift didn't put Cage away, was fantastic.
Really subtle. Really well done.
Like all that stuff was great storytelling. Moxley having to change his game plan, Moxley going after his arm, highlighting some of these new skills that Moxley wants to be more known for. He doesn't want to just be the hardcore guy. He wants to show that he's got some technical chops and everything.
Yep.
So, like, all of that was great. And then we get to the actual finish. And Moxley's got a submission hold on. And this is where my point of the booking is logical, but did you really need to go that way? He's got this submission on. He's taunting Taz. He's flipping him off. He's being John Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that stuff's great. Cage is refusing to tap out. Now, the idea that Taz would logically look at Brian Cage as this is an investment. This is my guy. He's not going to tap out on his own. So if I don't want him put on the shelf, I need to do something about this, is fine. That logic is sound. Why in the hell on God's green earth would Taz ever throw in the towel for anything?
Right.
Like, I could see Taz getting pissed off at Moxley, giving him in the finger, looking for something to throw, picking up the towel, and then realizing what he did as the towel hits Moxley's face, and it being a mistake. But this was a deliberated action that Taz took to protect his client, and the fact that they were so close to the ropes didn't help. Like, the idea that Cage couldn't reach the ropes from where he was in the ring with Moxley as close to Taz as he was so he could fit in the camera shot kind of bugged the shit out of me. They had other ways of doing this. I know they don't like DQ finishes, but if they were going to bring Darby out, having Darby screw Taz's client after Taz fucked with him for a while and was like, it all made sense. There were ways to do this that made sense. And this, while the individual actions of each person involved made sense, made the story less fulfilling. It was like letting all the air out of the tires at the very end. And like afterwards they have Cage get up and like throw a shit fit and all this stuff. And then they mess it up again by having the first person who's holding Cage back be some tiny little production guy. Like that guy could ever get in Brian Cage's way for anything. Like, I know that Brian Cage in real life is a good guy, but he's supposed to be this monster. He could just like throw that guy away with one hand and get to Mox with no worries. It seemed like they weren't ready for their own finish in a lot of ways. And I don't know. Like, everything up until the title throw I thought was fine. And then after that, it was just kind of like, I don't know what happened.
I'm going to disagree with you in the sense that I feel like I agree with you in the sense that they executed a good match, but the fact that I knew the ending before they even walked in the ring colored the match. Same thing with Brody Lee. Like, I knew that, okay, I'm just waiting for the big guy to have some screwy, protect him, but keep Moxley the champion finish. That's exactly what I got. When I can predict wrestling, it's bad.
Well, them putting the FTW title on him made me wonder whether or not they were going to go with Cage, because I don't know. Maybe Mr. Moxley needs to take some time off to go take care of his wife who is sick with COVID, and this was their way of writing him on TV, and that's why FTW title showed up. But I had no idea. But no,
they weren't going to give the world title to Cage. He's not ready. He's not known.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, the whole thing was like that. The ending, like, it made Taz look stupid in a way that made both he and Cage look weaker.
Right.
Like, making Taz look stupid because he's angry is different than making Taz look stupid because he's making a calculated business decision. Does that seem like the kind of person Taz is? Like, I get it. The man knows how to play the game, but do you really look at Taz and think, oh my gosh, my investment might not be able to wrestle anymore, and there goes my meal ticket? He's not that kind of person. It doesn't make sense for him to be that kind of manager.
Right.
It's not Bobby Heenan. It's not, Freddie.
The FTW belt is a hardcore belt. It is a belt that Sabu held and that existed in the middle of ECW that no rules. We're going to just, fuck the world and all that shit. And then okay, well, so now we're going to throw in the towel and tap out on your first match.
Like, what?
Yeah,
what?
They're stupid.
I don't get it. And him not tapping out is fine. It's like Brody not tapping out and passing out instead. But why were you in that position to begin with? Let Mox snap his arm, and then after Mox snaps his arm, have Cage just continue to destroy him because Moxley's won the match, and Cage doesn't give a shit. That would have been a better ending.
Right.
Let Mox break his arm, and then Cage gets up and wrecks him after the match. Mox doesn't get to celebrate, Or, God forbid, you have Darby come in and wreck Taz's shit. Pissing on his parade moves Cage into a different program, the same way they're going to anyway. The next program is Darby Cage. There's no way that's not happening. That's where Cage is going to go from here. Taz is going to send his machine after Darby Allin. So why not have them be the ones who have some beef with each other? It's fine for Moxley to be pissed off at Taz and Taz to be pissed off at Moxley, but Taz isn't an in-ring competitor. He's not. He's never going to be an in-ring competitor again. He's a fantastic announcer. He's a pretty damn good manager. I've loved his promos that he's done, especially when he lets Cage interject inside of the promos that he's delivering. Yeah, that, or when he let Cage say some shit after they wrecked Mox on the car, building up to this match. It's... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, why it was so unsatisfying to me, and at the same time, I don't dislike any of the people involved. So that means it's storytelling. That means that it's the story they were telling. And I'm fine with Darby coming out and continuing this whole Moxley thing. What I was hoping would happen is Darby would come out and posture at Taz and Cage, and then he would whack Moxley across the face with the skateboard when Moxley went for a fist bump or something, because why in the hell does Darby Allin care about best buds or friends or anything? He should just be gunning for that championship the same way anybody else is. Darby trying to take his spot in the line makes perfect sense to me. Instead, they end it with them fist bumping, and I'm like, why would two of the biggest lone wolf wrestlers in your company fist each other out of respect? Fuck that noise. I don't know. I expect more hardcore out of all of the people involved in this angle. And instead, they went out with something that would have been more appropriate for a Jericho Omega match.
Or just this general Super Friends idea of the heels get along and the babyface get along. And this is my last thing about AEW. I had 4 rants in me. I just feel like on the whole, AEW is a very safe product right now.
Yes.
I feel like they don't like you don't tune in to like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? Oh my god, who's gonna show up? Oh my god, who's gonna win? And what kind of crazy stuff am I gonna see? Like you're gonna see crazy stunts, but you can see crazy stunts basically in every promotion. At this point, because everybody's you can see like a Ricochet Cedric match is gonna give you the same stunts
main
like
event.
like 80, yeah, exactly. It's gonna give you like that kind of stunt show or like a Gargano Ciampa match or whatever it is. You're gonna get good wrestling, good athletic competition, but like this sense of like anything can happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know who's gonna show up. I don't know who's gonna get their asses beat. And I feel like AEW is not hitting any of those marks. I feel like it's a wrestling athletic competition show, but not like must-see TV yet.
Well, it's so weird with the monsters because like they didn't have any monsters for the longest time, and then they suddenly got a whole bunch of big guys all at once, and then they proceeded to book them all identically. Like, why? What's the point? If all the monsters are going to do exactly the same shit, why couldn't you do that with just one monster? Right. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt everybody's stock if all of them take one loss instead of one guy takes 4 losses. But like, I don't know. It's so weird to me the way that they approached it. And I get that there's a lot of little guys on the roster. Luchasaurus and Wardlow are big guys. They aren't putting them in title matches right now.
Nope.
Like, why in the hell? Like, I don't know. I get the tournament for the TNT title where they had to work with what they had because they recorded all of it in one night and that was all they could do. And like it was pretty obvious that Cody was probably going to end up going over in that thing. And it was obvious he was going to be squaring off with Archer. We just didn't know how it was going to go. But then they do the same thing with Mox and Brody. They do the same thing with Mox and Cage. Like at this point,
I don't even throw in Cody and Hager because that was another like big guy false screwy finish thing.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like I understand you got to give some plausible reason why this guy who destroys people in 2 minutes suddenly falls to somebody who's smaller than him and less strong than him and everything. But like Moxley's a serious enough contender that nobody should be surprised if Moxley beats Cage.
Right.
You don't have to have a screwy finish for it to work. Let Moxley win the way he said he would. And then next week have Taz give Cage the FTW championship. Let Moxley break his arm. Give Cage the FTW championship then and have Cage wrestle some no-name with a broken arm and prove how badass he is and work his way back through the card. Like, there are so many different ways they could have booked this, and instead they went with a way that I guess protected the talent but left the audience feeling deflated. Whatever. And
so I'm again, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm a little bit kind of on the whole product. I just feel like it is a safe product right now, and there's some real things I have problems with. I'm watching it, so I want to watch wrestling, and WWE can kiss my hairy ass. Yeah, like three whole nights of wrestling, Tom, man. You're a good recap person. Just went through all that stuff.
No, thank you. Oh, hey, it's what I do.
Somebody got to.
Alrighty. Well, Tony, Jason, thank you so much for coming back on. And
my pleasure, man. It's always fun.
Yep. And we agreed a lot tonight. I love it.
Yeah. Wow. And in the meantime, just stay tuned. 2 weeks, I guess, if I keep my schedule. Who my guest is for the Fireside Chat Shoot the Shit series. I don't know who I have because I don't know which file I saved under that folder. So when I open up that folder, I guess I'll know who
so
it
it's
is.
A surprise to everyone.
Yeah, it's like so. All right. Well, till next time. Good night, guys.
Take care.
Later, everybody.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you so much for smashing that download button. If you want to find out more about the Mega Meeple, just go to the website, www.themegameeple.com, and listen to all the previous episodes if you like, if you missed anything, or follow me and interact with me with all my social media stuff. It's on the social media page. There's also links there for the YouTube channel. for the iTunes. If you want to subscribe and leave a happy review there, appreciate it very much. Also with the Patreon, if you want to put over $1 or so a month, whatever. Every little bit helps. But thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys and gals next time. So hope you all be safe, be sane, be healthy, and stay home. And if you have to go out, wear your fucking masks.
So we could just have like tandem parallel conversations and you could put it all together. I have faith in you.
Oh, God.
Why are you not working, audio?
Uh-oh. Let's talk a lot of shit about Tony right now because you can't hear us. Go ahead and put that in the blooper reel, how much shit we're talking about Tony. He seems like a perfectly reasonable, okay guy, but let's talk shit about him anyway.
Huh.
Can you hear me?
Why can't I hear anybody?
Uh-oh. Time to quick run to Best Buy. Time to go to Best Buy. You got time for that?
I can hear the test audio.
Oh.
Why do I not hear?
I hope that my iPad holds out in me because I'm really comfortable right now. This would be really upsetting if I had to actually sit in a chair.
Oh, that's annoying as hell.
Tech support 101. Turn it off and turn it back on.
Exactly.
I know, right? It's what I do for a day job, so you'd think I would know that, but... Oh, well.
Oh, well, we were talking shit about you, but we didn't
That's
get too
fine.
far.
And we have it on, that'll be in the blooper reel, all the shit we talked about you.
Okay. That's fair.
The
fair.
tech support guy who couldn't figure out Skype. That's all that's it writes itself.
Yep. I've earned it. It's all my fault.
This shit writes itself. It's amazing.
I know, right?